kiddos, it's Miss Higgins. Today we're going to talk a little bit about possessive nouns. So first, we just need a little refresher on what a noun is, since we're going to be learning about a new type of noun. So a noun is any person, place, or thing. But we're going to talk about what exactly a possessive noun is. So a possessive noun shows ownership. It shows that someone or something owns something else. You've seen these kinds of nouns all over the place and you use them all the time, but sometimes it can be a little tricky adding those endings on. So you can see here the dog's bowl, the bowl that belongs to the dog. And we have the girl's dress, the dress that belongs to the girl. So possessive nouns always have an apostrophe. Here you can see we have Dad's car, the car that belongs to Dad, and Mrs. Smith's class, the class that belongs to Mrs. Smith. Both of them have apostrophes and both of them have apostrophe S specifically. So nouns that don't end in an S, especially singular nouns, okay, singular nouns that are possessive, we add an apostrophe S to, like Mary's house, the house that belongs to Mary, or the phone's screen, the screen that belongs to the phone. Both of these are singular nouns, so we add an apostrophe S. Then, when we have nouns that end in S, like plural nouns, specifically plural nouns that end in S, we just add an apostrophe. So it shows an example down here, Ant's hill, the hill that belongs to many ants. We just add an apostrophe. Or monkey's cage, the cage that belongs to many monkeys. So we just add the apostrophe. But if we have a plural noun that's irregular, like children, it's plural but doesn't end in S, we would still add an apostrophe S to the end. Now we're going to do a little practicing. So we have the paper belongs to Mr. Elliot. So when we're trying to figure out possessives here, we can follow 3 steps. The first step is figuring out who owns something. So the paper belongs to Mr. Elliot. Mr. Elliot is the one who owns something. So we're going to write Mr. Elliot. Our next step is to decide if we need an apostrophe or an apostrophe S. So if we look back to who owns something, we have Mr. Elliot. Mr. Elliot is a singular proper noun, so we are going to add an apostrophe S. So now we have Elliots. So now we need to figure out, what do they own? Looking back here, the paper belongs to Mr. Elliot, so the paper. And we end with Mr. Elliot's paper. Let's try another one. The nest belonging to the birds. First, we look at step 1, who owns something? The nest belonging to the birds. The birds are owning something here. So we're going to put the birds. Step number 2, apostrophe or apostrophe S. So we look at birds. Birds is a plural noun that ends in an S. So we are just going to need an apostrophe. Because if we had an apostrophe S, we'd say birdses. That's not what we want to say. So now we're going to see, what do the birds own? The birds own the nest. So we end with the bird's nest. Let's do one more this way. Oh, never mind, we're at the practice. So, the room that belongs to Ryan. remember our step number 1. Who owns something? We have Ryan. Does Ryan need an S or an apostrophe S? Since it is a singular proper noun, we need an apostrophe S for Ryan's. And then what does Ryan own? Ryan owns the room. So we have Ryan's room. Our next one, we have the book that belongs to the library. So, who owns something? The library. Do we need an S or an apostrophe S? Library is a singular noun, so we need an apostrophe S. And then what does the library own? The library owns the book. So the library's book. Our third one, the jewelry that belongs to the girls. So who owns something? The girls. Now do we need an apostrophe or an apostrophe S? Girls is a plural noun that ends in an S, so we just need an apostrophe. And then what do the girls own? Jewelry. The girls' jewelry. Our next one, the toys that belong to the cats. Who owns something? The cats. Do we need an apostrophe or an apostrophe S? Cats is a plural noun that ends in an S, so we just need an apostrophe. Then what belongs to the cats? The toys. The cat's toys. And our last one at the bottom here, the phone that belongs to mom. So, who owns something? Mom. Do we need an apostrophe or an apostrophe S? Since mom is a singular noun, we just need an apostrophe S for moms. And then what does mom own? The phone. So we have mom's phone. All right, kiddos, I hope that helped you out learning a little bit more about those possessive nouns. I hope you are having a great day.